Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another workout. And today was dynamic effort squat and deadlift day. Pretty much my favorite day because I like the speed pulls, although they do get tough on my thumbs now. I've gone to just bands for them. I think they were more fun when it was chains because bands just kind of beat you up in their own unique way. But the fact of the matter is I love deadlifting, and so since I get to do as many as 20 singles on the deadlift today, I like it. It's fun. Now, the safety bar squats are not always fun for speed work. They're just hard. They're difficult. They challenge me in terms of breathing. They challenge me in terms of thoracic strength, all that stuff, and I need to do them. So what I'm reminding people of here is that for now, I'm going to just do 3-week waves of nothing but bands instead of swapping bands and chains for this stuff. And that means I'm just going to rotate bars. So every 3 weeks, I'm going to switch to a different bar for the box squat and a different bar for the bench press. Fortunately, I have enough bars. It's not a problem. So we're changing the training stress that way, and then I'm loading more and more band tension each time. So for example, last week for the squats, we did 100 pounds of band tension. Today it's 115. Probably next week I'll go to 130. Which is, again, more band tension than a lot of people would necessarily program for dynamic work, and I'm using slightly lighter weight. So again, I can get the most speed possible, but then have to fight really hard against bands at the lockout to still give the same amount of total tension I would get as if I had used a slightly heavier weight with less band. And the whole idea here is, again, maximizing my own explosiveness. I need more speed strength. Now, it's definitely working on the squats because we saw the box squat PR this week. I was really happy with that. It means my squat strength is going up effectively. Bench still needs more work, but I feel like with the benching, it's more of an issue of just needing more meat. I need more muscle in certain places in order to bench. I have long arms. I have longer than average arms for my frame. I need to put more muscle on in the right places. And mainly that's going to be more tricep, more pec. And I know guys are like, you got a big chest. It's still not big enough. It isn't big enough to do what I'm trying to do on my frame. So, we accept these things. So we'll keep working on all of that, and I'll be incorporating more and more work. Some of this is going to seem like I'm not adding a whole lot of stuff yet for the lower body, but it's mainly because I'm doing so many weighted carries. I'm doing a lot of weighted carries. I'm doing a lot of farmers walks at home. So that's having a cumulative effect. But it will become more obvious with the upper body stuff that I'm adding a little bit more volume over time, which, realistically I need because my bench press is still coming the slowest out of my lifts. It's coming the slowest, which is to be expected. I'm not gaining weight, right? I've been recomping, staying at the same body weight. So because there's been no weight gain, bench is going to be slow. And someone brought that up in the comments. They're like, come on, I thought you were specializing in the bench. It's like, I put an extra focus in it. But adding 5 pounds, adding 10 pounds to your bench as an advanced lifter when you're not going to bulk takes a lot of work. And I'm putting in that work, but it's going to take time. And at this point, a lot of it's going to be, again, just working on the strength curve, and it's going to be putting muscle on. I just simply have to put more muscle in the right places on my upper body. And if I lose body fat, I have to replace it with muscle tissue. I have to. Because even loss of body fat alone makes your bench go down for reasons we've discussed in the past. So I've got to displace any fat loss with muscle. I have to. So it's just going to be a process, and it is what it is. But I'm going to keep putting in the work. I'm going to stay diligent at it. And, that's the thing. People can be critical of a lot of things they've seen me do or whatever. But, guys, you guys see I'm actually training hard, training correctly. My training is dialed in. I am putting in the work. I am practicing what I preach. I'm practicing what I preach day in and day out. And I do take it seriously. But, it's a slow process. Gaining muscle, gaining strength, all that stuff takes time, particularly when you're not bulking. But I feel like I'm making progress. Everything's coming along. It's never good enough. It's never fast enough. And it's not only never going to be fast enough for certain people in the audience, it's never going to be fast enough for us. Our own personal results are never fast enough. But you know what? That's real life. That's how this stuff works. So then the speed pulls today, Same as I normally do. I'm using a fairly lightweight, and then I'm running a lot of band tension. Now, I usually just do these when I feel like I'm getting close to 20. I will go ahead and stop and go plug the camera into my computer, because I do these with such a short break. I don't have time to go transfer these to the computer to look at the footage, because I use a GoPro so that I can bring a camera in close. It has a fisheye lens for my training. And I just don't have time between sets to go load them, so I can't see how many files I have. So once my thumbs start to get really chafed and I'm like, I better quit, that's all my thumbs can take, that's when I quit. And sometimes I get to 17. Now, if I get to 18 or 19, and sometimes I'll come in and just do that one more just to get to the 20, and I do that pretty frequently. But today I felt like, man, I thought I did 20-ish, and my thumbs were kind of at that point where I'm like, I better quit, and it ended up being 17. But that's fine, because usually the programming for this is 10 to 20 singles. 17 is on the upper end of that threshold. Ideally, we want 20. But that's all my thumb skin could take. Because again, the bands are so much harder. Like when I do chains, I can always get the 20. Bands, heavy bands on hook grip, it just trashes your grip so much. It trashes mainly your thumbs, like the skin on your thumbs. Like you have to set everything perfect. And if you get one rep where you don't set your hook correctly, it will cut several reps off. You'll lose 5 reps off what you can do for the day, because it just ends up tearing the skin. And the beauty of it is, though, is that I feel like my thumbs are getting tougher and tougher. We're seeing me pull a little heavier and a little heavier with the hook grip. They are toughening up. I've started adding in a little bit more grip work, more pinch block work. I'm doing weighted carries several days a week. So over time, we're going to see the grip get better and better. Grip will get better and better. The training is getting more diverse, and I'm hitting enough angles and everything now that I should just be getting stronger. I should be getting bigger, and I think it's obvious at this point that there's definitely recomp happening. Because again, people keep saying stuff like, "Oh, you look leaner," and it's like, well, I haven't lost any weight. Like I'm literally back to 220 on the scale today, so I'm back up 1 pound over the last 2 weeks, and that'll drift back down. I think that hopefully that'll come back down a little bit. Again, because I'm making some slight adjustments. I'm adding a little more protein, cutting a little more fat out of my diet. Just kind of fine-tuning those things. Because that's the other thing. I feel like if I just change a little bit more of my calories over to protein, that will hopefully give me, again, an additional recomposition effect. It'll help with the recovery from the extra conditioning, because I'm doing the farmer's walks. I'm starting to do more box jumps. And I'm fine-tuning some stuff. I think you guys are going to enjoy the lifts that I add in over the next few weeks, the newer stuff I'm going to add. I'm going to start messing with all my stuff. I have all these specialty bars. It's easy for me to avoid overuse injuries, right? We can always work angles and things that are easier on joints, easier on connective tissue with all the bars and bands and chains and stuff that I have. So I'm just going to keep slowly adding volume as my work capacity improves. And again, I think the loaded carries are giving me enough general physical preparedness that it's going to keep improving my work capacity, keep improving my conditioning, and just slowly keep getting better, do my best. And a lot of it's about fatigue management. It's keeping myself not stressed. I know there's always a lot of things, and I don't always talk about all of it online. There are obviously things that are going to stress me in my life. There's a lot of stuff that if people were to really follow what goes on the internet, it stresses me in my life. But I don't let those things get to me, you know. You can't let any of that stuff get to you, because that interferes with your training. It interferes with your training, and I'm at a point in my life to where this has to take a priority over whatever nonsense is going on. I don't allow people in my life that are problems. I don't allow friendships, relationships, family members who stress me to have anything to do with me anymore. Like the moment someone becomes a stressor to me, I cut them out of my life. It's real simple. That's how I'm able to continue to work all this volume of. That's how I'm doing it on low carb. That's how I'm doing it at maintenance calories. I just maintain my stress. I've kind of set my life up to where literally no internet trolls have the ability to contact me in private. I don't argue with them. I just ban them. I just ban them on all social media. I don't talk to them anymore, really. I just hit the ban button and I move on. Someone links something a troll has made, I just ban them, even if they're a normal fan. Because that's what they get. I move on with my life. I don't look at any of it. I don't care about it. because it's not beneficial to me, right? It's not beneficial to me. And I've again structured my life in such a way I don't have any way for trolls to publicly contact me. I have no phone number that's available to them, and I already have it set up to where if any of them ever get any phone number to reach me again, I just go through my carrier, change my number, and change all my accounts and everything related to that number, and just be done with it in one day. So I make myself unreachable for stress. And there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for that, guys. That's one of the reasons I am making more progress these days. That's a big part of it. Usually when you guys have seen me struggle with my training, it's because I am being influenced by enormous stressors in my personal life. Enormous stressors. And by cutting those things out, and they are optional. Yes, guys, having a child is not optional. If you've got a child, you have to deal with that. You got a newborn, you got to deal with that. Maybe your job is a stressor, but you don't have to put up with other stressors. If you have someone who's a friend or a family member and they have a drug issue or a habit that causes you stress, cut them out of your life completely. Just get rid of them until they fix that. Right? And this may sound harsh. May sound harsh, but I find all those things, anyone who's a stressor to me, they're gone. Zero tolerance. And my God, does it help with your training. And it helps with your life. It makes your life better. It makes your life better. And it makes me happier. I'm a less angry of a person. I'm a more caring, kinder, more generous person as a result of it. You know, because you're not angry or upset. You got to get rid of all that stuff. So, then we did banded good mornings. I thought about doing them with my buffalo bar, but I realized this is better. And it does put stress on my neck. This bar always puts stress on my neck. But, you know, that's why I have done a little bit of neck training. I'm not doing much of it right now, just a small amount, just to strengthen that area up, because you can get exertion headaches from it. It does stress your neck a little bit. But, again, you can strengthen your neck enough to deal with that. And I obviously need to keep doing that. But the bands, again, we're getting that overspeed eccentric. So that's what we want. We're getting that stretch reflex out of it. And so that's kind of the point here. And this is for higher reps. So I did 4 sets of 10, which should be adequate, because you've got to balance this stuff with how much work did I get on the speed pulls and everything. And balance it all out and make sure you hit the sort of training volumes you want to hit. Now, is it to say that I'm going to keep this volume here? No, I'll probably increase it. I may eventually start doing 5 sets of all my good mornings. In fact, it wouldn't be a bad idea as I'm able to handle the workload. Again, we build this stuff up over time. But volume on stuff like this has to be added slowly, because I'm doing weighted carries. I'm doing GPP work. It's again, for those who don't know, that stands for General Physical Preparedness. So we have to add these things in slowly and just keep building work capacity. Got to keep building work capacity. Keep getting into better shape. Because that's what being in shape means. It has nothing to do with your body fat. That's a silly bodybuilder thing. It's about conditioning, recovery, work capacity. Then we did the box jumps. I did 4 sets of 5 on these today. 4 sets of 5. And yes, these are relatively easy. And people have kind of said that. They're like, how high do you think you jump? I don't know. I don't need to know what my maximum vertical jump is. It's just not relevant right now. I'm training. I am using this to train more explosiveness, right? And someone else has said, why don't you jump back off of the box? It has to do with injury risk, and it has to do with fatigue that it generates. This is adequate for what I do. It's adequate for what I do. It's giving me the training response that I want. It's helping make me more explosive, which will help me with my squat, which will help me with my deadlift, and which will help me just in general being more explosive. I'm trying to slowly but surely become more athletic. Well, being athletic means being explosive, being conditioned, and obviously I've got to keep losing some body fat. It means I've got to get leaner, because again, it's not just about strength. We need to have speed. We need to have work capacity. We need conditioning. We need to be reasonably lean. I'm trying to work on all these performance elements while specializing in max strength. But we need to get better at everything. You get better at everything. And these are a valuable tool towards that, even when done not to a maximum jump height. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.